Hello, Quinnipiac basketball fans, and welcome into the latest edition of Hot Hoops. We have an exciting show for you today as the women's team made history this past week. I'm Chris Daceby, and help me break down all the action that happened last week, I am with Brian Schwartz. Brian, how are we doing today?
Doing well. It's a nice run for the Quinnipiac Bobcats. We'll get right into it.
Brian, as I said before, the Quinnipiac women's basketball team made history last week as the Bobcats won their first tournament game against Big East champs Marquette by a score of 68-65. The tournament run did not end there for the Bobcats as they faced third-seeded Miami Hurricanes in the round of 32. The Bobcats' offensive explosion was senior Morgan Mans scoring a team-high 22 points as the Bobcats went on to win this game as a score of 85-78. Now the Bobcats will move on to face number 1 seed South Carolina in the Sweet 16. For more on the Marquette win, we send it to Maury Hirschgordon and Sierra Goodwill, who were in Coral Gables, Florida, covering the game.
A game in which they led wire to wire. The Quinnipiac Bobcats pull off the 12-5 upset, defeating the reigning Big East Conference champion Marquette Golden Eagles 68-65 to record the program's first NCAA tournament win. Maury Hirschgordon alongside Sierra Goodwill here in Coral Gables, Florida. Before we break down the game, Sierra, there was a big storyline coming into it. Marquette guard Natisha Heidemann said on Monday night when she learned about Quinnipiac, her opponent, she didn't even know who they were.
Quinnipiac's a great team. I give them all the credit. They played hard. They had a great first half. They had great everything. They played with a lot of fight. I give them all the credit, and I wish them the best luck in the tournament.
Really, when it came down to it, I just knew I had to be in her stuff, and my hands had to be up because we knew she was going to launch it. She's a playmaker.
Well, now it's pretty safe to say that Heidemann knows who the Bobcats are.
Absolutely. It was a battle between her and fifth-year senior Adelie Martucci for the Bobcats all night long. The biggest play of the game arguably came with 20 seconds left when Heidemann dialed up a three-pointer that would give Marquette their first lead of the game with 20 seconds left. Adelie Martucci said no way, swatted away, saved her season, giving this program the first win in the NCAA tournament.
Huge play from the fifth-year guard who guaranteed an NCAA tournament win just a few weeks ago in the MAC tournament. Trisha Fabry, though, knew that her Bobcats had a really good chance this morning after the team shoot-around.
And to be honest with you, our shoot-around this morning was the best it's ever been. The laser focus, the ready to go, and texted my AD that we're going to be hard to beat today. And that's on the record at a text at 9:30 this morning on the bus back.
Well, Brian, Maury and Sierra mentioned it. Natasha Heidemann, never heard of Quinnipiac. Quickly, what is your thoughts on her saying this?
You know what? This just gave Quinnipiac the extra motivation that they needed. Marquette was heavily favored. Everyone knew that. But Adelie Martucci said after the game, they know who we are. I think everyone knows who we are now. Everyone knows who they are now with these 2 wins. It was just another point for Quinnipiac to kind of get motivated for this game, and they did.
Now let's go into the game. What went into this game? What did Quinnipiac do to pull off this upset?
It was a hot start for Quinnipiac. They started 26-13 after 1 quarter. Everyone was playing well. Everyone was shooting lights out. Jen Fay, 9 of 16. Stroutman, 5 of 6. McClure, 5 of 9. Everyone was playing at the top of their game, and that's why Quinnipiac was able to get out into an early lead and eventually win this game.
Okay, and then I also mentioned here, what I also want to talk about is Martucci's defense. I mean, she might have not shown up on the offensive stats, but her defense, especially on Heidemann, holding her to 13 points, was it an unsung hero? Was she the unsung hero of this game?
See, I wouldn't even call it an unsung hero. I would just call it the flat-out hero. Adelie Martucci's been the heart and soul of this team the whole entire season. She's been the one that's pumping them up with the fist pumps, as we keep saying every single episode of Hot Hoops. She's the one that's the heart behind this team. She had the big defensive block in the end to block Heidemann in the last minute of the game against Marquette. She's done it all year long where she's locked down the top scorer. She did it against Marina Lizarazu. She's done it against Canisius. She's done it against every single big game Quinnipiac has had. She's stepped up and has done the job for the Bobcats.
Like we just saw on that full screen, she played 38 minutes. Do you expect her to play that much or even more against South Carolina?
Absolutely. She's going to play the entire game, I think, as long as she's not in foul trouble. She needs to. Fay needs to, McClure needs to, Stroutman needs to. The top 6-7 players are going to be in this game the whole entire time for Quinnipiac. They need them to step up and stay out of foul trouble.
During this Marquette game, what impressed you the most? Would you say it was the Quinnipiac offense or the Quinnipiac defense?
I think it's the defense. I think it's what's carried them all season is the defense locking down the top scorers on each team. They've been playing really well on the defensive end. stealing, getting the rebounds, doing everything with Stroutman and McClure, and just everyone down low in the post and up top. They're guarding top point guards and shooting guards, which has been outstanding for them.
And another player was she was the MAC, made the MAC all team. Erin McClure. What have you liked about her in this game?
You know what? She didn't play well early in the season, but in the MAC championship, she stepped up and she had 28 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. She really had a great game, and I think that's propelled her into this NCAA tournament. She should be the best player on this team. She's got the most talent. She just needs the confidence that I can make these shots, I can make these jumpers, I can get down low, get a rebound over a really good player, I can lock down the top player. And she's going to need to do that if Quinnipiac wants to repeat next year.
Definitely we'll see that. Well, Brian, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to discuss the Miami game. Make sure you stay with us.
Coming up on hashtag that. We are your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news. All this and more.
Coming up on the Q30 Newscast. Hello, Quinnipiac hockey fans, and welcome to the Neutral Zone.
Definitely St. Lawrence, and I think you're going to see the test coming up real soon.
They might be having a bit of an adjustment issue without that CBS line, but don't count them out.
At High Point Solutions Arena in Game 2 of Quinnipiac versus Northeastern Series.
Welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. We're going to move on to Quinnipiac's upset of Miami. As I said before, the Bobcats won 85-78 to secure their spot in the Sweet 16 for the first time in school history. First off, Brian, how did Quinnipiac even pull off this huge upset?
You know, I think first and foremost, it's the confidence that they have. They beat Marquette. They got out to another hot start against Miami, 25-22 after 1. They were up by 7 at the half. And you know what? As we said all year, a different player steps up every single game. This time it was Morgan Manns, Chris. 6 of 8 from 3, 7 of 9 from the field, 22 points. She just had such a great game and was shooting the ball with confidence. She said after the game, my teammates have confidence in me to shoot the ball. And she did that game against Miami. She really stepped up, and she's the key senior that kind of struggled a little bit towards the beginning of the season, but now she's starting to pick her game up, and she's going to be another key if they want to beat South Carolina.
Yeah, like you said, the shooting was up for Quinnipiac, not like in the regular season where they struggled to put the ball in the net, especially Morgan Manns, like you saw, hitting 6 3-pointers there. So real quickly, let's go on to the South Carolina game. What are their chances realistically against South Carolina, the top seed in their part of the bracket?
Honestly, top seed, I think he could throw that away. They could possibly be without 2 of their top 3 players. Alicia Gray injured her knee Sunday. She may not play in this game. And their star center, Elena Coates, is out. Those are 2 of their top 3 scorers, Chris. So they could be huge losses for South Carolina. Again, South Carolina is no UConn. Yes, they're a top seed, but they're not an undefeated, won 100 games in a row. They have a 7-game win streak. They just got by Arizona State. Arizona State, they're a good team, but they were an 8 seed. Quinnipiac's beaten a 4 and a 5 seed. So you never know what's going to happen. That's why you play the game.
Definitely a good team in South Carolina, but you never know. We're going to take one lower break, but when we come back, we're going to discuss some men's basketball to finish up. Dylan Fearon talked with MAC basketball beat reporter Jaden Daly on the head coaching situation for Quinnipiac. You won't want to miss this one. Stay tuned.
It's 9:30 Eastern, and you know what that means. Sports Pause is on the air.
Ball played up the middle. Iman Whalen with a little cheat off the play.
Preseason just boils down to going after another national championship and not necessarily focusing on the one before.
MJ, it is time for our favorite part of the show. It's the top 5 plays of the week, brought to you by B&D Deli, home of the Q-Dog.
Let's talk about the first play you want to break down.
Yeah, let's break it down right away.
But the one name I'm going to throw out there is a freshman, Mika Maples.
All this and more.
Coming up on the Q30 Newscast.
Welcome back, and we're going to toss it right out to Dylan Fearon with his interview with Jaden Daly on the men's basketball coaching options.
Jaden, what's going on, brother?
Dylan, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for coming on. We've heard rumors of guys like Jared Grasso, Mike Rice, Travis Steele, but what coaches realistically make sense here to come coach in Hamden?
Well, there have been, as you mentioned, Dylan, a few names that have been thrown around. Jared Grasso has to be the top choice just based on his Quinnipiac and MAC connections. He'd be a home run for Greg Amodio if he chooses to go in that direction, just with his recruiting ties and his ability to get players to fit his system. I've also heard Mark Schmidt, the St. Bonaventure coach, who would also be a very solid hire. He's won with, let's be honest, next to nothing in the Atlantic 10. The resources as St. Bonaventure aren't exactly as rich as some of the other schools in the conference. Will Brown from Albany has been thrown around, but I'm not sure if he would leave. He's already turned down higher profile offers in the past from Atlantic 10 schools, so I don't know if he'd be ready to leave Albany, especially with his family in the area. A name that popped up to me actually earlier today, and an intriguing one at that, is Baker Dunleavy. He's an assistant coach of Villanova. He's on Jay Wright's staff, so he has a national championship to his credit and can definitely use that in the recruiting game as well. I was told the job was his if he wanted it, but I haven't heard anything else after that in the last few hours. So just a sampling of those names. I don't think Mike Rice is as realistic as the New York Post report made it out to be. He's more likely to get a job as an assistant coach than he is as a mid-major head coach. Travis Steele is one that intrigues me. He's been on Chris Mack's staff for a while, and Greg Amodio worked at Xavier. Now, if Mack goes to Indiana, the prospect of Travis Steele getting a mid-major job should be something to watch as well.
Right. The Travis Steele hire interests me as well, but there have been rumors of Quinnipiac paying up to $800,000 a year for its next head coach. Do you think they'll go through with that, and which of those candidates that you spoke on should get that type of salary?
Well, it's no secret that Quinnipiac has a very large endowment and a large alumni base, so it doesn't surprise me that they'd be willing to pay to return the program to their winning ways. I don't know if anybody that's currently out there might be worth that kind of money yet. It might be a little too much early on, and if they don't win right away, it would be hard to justify. But with that said, if you're going to hire an $800,000 coach, you're going to get somebody with experience at the head coaching level. That's where a Mark Schmidt or a Will Brown probably come into play. I don't know if Schmidt leaves St. Bonaventure. He turned down Boston College 2 years ago, a high major job in the ACC. But with the resources that Quinnipiac has, if they were to get him, it would be a phenomenal
And make sure if you want to check out the full interview, make sure you check it out on our website at www.q30television.com. And Brian, you heard what Jaden had to say. What is your opinion on the coaching situation?
Yeah, I think the one name to look out for is Baker Dunleavy, the Villanova assistant head coach. He comes from a basketball family. Mike Sr., the coach at Tulane right now, is his dad. He's a former NBA head coach. His brother, Mike Jr., is on the Atlanta Hawks now, the deadly three-point shooter.
Great connections he has.
A lot of connections. Coming from Villanova, they just won a national championship. Good recruits coming from there, too.
Oh, exactly.
So you never know what's going to happen. If they can get him to come to here in Hamden, it could be a good choice.
Yeah. And thanks, Brian. That's all the time we have for today. Make sure you go check out our website at Q30, or check us out on Twitter, rather, at Q30 Sports, and visit our website at www.q30television.com to stay up to date on the women's NCAA run and the men's coaching hire. For Brian Schwartz, I'm Chris Stacy. Have a good one, Bobcats.